this Obamagate goat fuck, another little item crossed my desk that I feel honor-bound to bring to all of your attention, because perhaps the most watched Senate race of the upcoming election is actually right here in my home state of Arizona, where the Democratic Party has an unprecedented opportunity to turn 2 Senate seats blue for the first time in fucking forever. Their champion, gun grabber, and only astronaut known for not going to outer space, Mark Kelly! His opponent, the solid but for some reason roundly reviled Martha McSally, regarded by Republicans as a rhino stalking horse who actually has quietly gone MAGA with a 90+% voting record in Trump's fucking favor since heading to the Senate. That the same pseudo-conservatives are also cheerleading fake moderate Kyrsten Sinema as the first conservative senator in Arizona for decades, despite her voting for Trump's impeachment. It's a sad indictment of social media groupthink. But until now, Mark Kelly really hasn't had his suspiciously polished dome under the electron microscope long enough to really know if the polls that have him ahead of McSally are truly representative of his actual chances. McSally, for one, has yet to air a single ad against the ass bandit, but she'll have plenty of ammo in her A-10 when she decides to do so, given the news of this past week, because it looks like Mark Kelly is less a man of the people than a man of the People's Republic. Despite beating his man boobs about China suppressing info about the pinko pox, when you dig deeper into the captain of the second-to-last NASA mission, he starts to look more like Comrade Kelly. I've said for many months now that the most important takeaway from the commie cough is that the #1 foreign donor to the modern Democratic Party since the late 90s, if not earlier, is China. This is why CNN, which is basically the propaganda arm of the DNC at this point, runs interference for Winnie the Flu. This is why Biden keeps unsuccessfully spitting suspicion at the Ukraine and Russia investigations, because the entire DNC establishment are dong deep in donations from China. Mark Kelly included. Kelly co-founded a commercial space exploration company called Worldview Enterprises in 2014, well after China began cracking down on the more capitalist elements of their economy. And he did this with investments of an undisclosed amount, which PS means a metric fuckload, from the Beijing-based Tencent. Yes, that Tencent, the one that's effectively an organ of the Chinese Communist Party, enacting their policy of acquiring soft power through investment in American industry. The same company that suspended streaming the NBA when the general manager of the Houston Rockets came out in support of anti-communist protests in Hong Kong, funding the company of a fucking Senate candidate. And when I say it's his company, I mean he holds a stake of over $250,000 with a goddamn D. Dude is up to his dick stem in commie cash. Worse still, he involved Arizona in all this. Well, if you consider the California satellite campus known as Pima County part of Arizona still anyway, by eliciting a loan of over $15 million from the motherfuckers to build the facility that at present has furloughed most of its fucking staff. Oh, and it gets better. When confronted about all the Chairman Mao money he's been buffing his fucking skull with, a spokesperson for Kelly's Senate campaign claimed it was merely a 10-cent subsidiary in the States called Mount McKinley, and not Tencent itself. But upon further review, Mount McKinley and Tencent have the same fucking mailing address. Look, I admit ambivalence on the subject of McSally. I wasn't sure she'd be up to the task, but at least thus far, I'm fucking impressed. She's no McCain, not by 15 fucking miles. And calling that ass canyon from CNN a liberal hack in front of Congress made me want to propose fucking marriage.
McSally, should the Senate consider new evidence as part of the impeachment trial?
You're a liberal hack.
But media knows she's the only thing between them and 2 more blue votes in the Senate, and they're freezing her the fuck out. Fuck, even Fox News, whose ownership shakeup is, shall we say, shifted the flavor of their coverage, airs anti-McSally ads during segments where she appears. But if there's one valid critique of the former fighter pilot in question, it's that she's not, for some reason, hitting Mark Kelly on gun control 1/5 as hard as she fucking should. This is Arizona, bitch, one of the only states in the union that has heavily relaxed gun regulations in the last decade, most notably by removing the permit requirement for both open and concealed carry. Purple or no, we love our goddamn guns, so the fact that Mark Kelly spent decades dropping bunker busters on the Second fucking Amendment should be big, bold, bloody murder headlines in Martha McSally's ads. But it ain't! A massive mistake that will cost her the election if she doesn't cut it the fuck out. Not that we don't know why she won't. Gabby Giffords. The wife and former shooting victim, Mark Kelly's been cowering behind to deflect from his gun-grabbing record for the past 9 fucking years at least. McSally won't say a peep about his unconstitutional firearms agenda, because it opens her up to the "my wife was shot, you maniac, have a heart" routine he's been taking on Broadway for a butt-fucking decade. And can we gab about Gabby for a beat while we're at it? Because for my money, the Gabby Giffords saga may be the single most ghoulish, exploitative chapter in the long, sad history of the modern Democratic Party, and Mark Kelly was up to his skullet in all of it. To bring non-Arizonans up to speed, Giffords was a middling politician and gun grabber extraordinaire for many moons before that fateful day that altered her career forever. In 2011, she was shot, near fatally, by a mentally unbalanced gunman in Tucson, who the news media made sure not to note was also stopped by a bunch of other men with guns, including several she fucking paid to carry guns for her protection. She survived. Barely. But not 15 fucking days had elapsed before she was being propped up with fucking sandwich boards and shuttled about the contiguous United States to shill the gun control agenda she'd already been pushing long before that bullet made her acquaintance. The phrase "never let a tragedy go to waste" has never been more vividly delineated than when the DNC reduced this man's wife to a gun control marionette. And Mark Kelly was fucking Geppetto. But even Geppetto has strings, and Chairman Marks lead all the way back to Beijing. Let's hope the voters remember this little episode when his Bond villain looking ass is on the ballot come November. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.